What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy, Cam ATL. Shout out to the DFS squad. Shout out to everybody who's watching this video right now. Drop a like down below because I already know you're gonna love it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. The winner of Madden 18 was chosen. I use a random optimizer on a program, and it randomly selected Sunny Gahai, Gahai, Gahai. Sonny, the last two winners have had like hard to pronounce last names. I hope I'm not butchering it like crazy. He already hit me up on Twitter, so I've already got his contact information. I'm going to send off the stuff. Thank you guys for participating in another giveaway. We're going to be doing another one very, very soon, so definitely stay in touch. Make sure you subscribe to the channel down below, man. I do a bunch of cool stuff on this channel. If you're new to the channel, you just joined for NFL, all that stuff, then you definitely want to be a part of it, man. We're like a family over here, and I do a ton of giveaways just to give back to everybody for supporting me throughout this journey of covering DFS sports, something I love so much on YouTube. So it's been super fun, and so we're definitely going to keep doing it. I hope everybody had an amazing week one of NFL. I had one player literally butcher my week one, and I hate it because I want to start off the year great. Literally, LeVeon Bell. All right, let's give him a moment of silence. Because the dude literally is resting in peace right now. He was non-existent. It was like find Waldo. It was find Waldo. That's what it was like. Every time I would flip to that game, I never saw LeVeon Bell. Literally, I never even saw him run the ball once. He was out there so little. And I mentioned to you guys in the video when I was talking about running backs, and I mentioned how there's a little bit of a worry he wasn't in full shape. But as I was going along things and things that LeVeon Bell himself were saying and the coaches, they were making it seem as if they were going to be giving LeVeon the ball 30 plus times in this matchup, which makes a lot of sense. But he ended up not getting anywhere near that. He ended up letting down a lot of people, and I love playing variations, and this time I happened to go full LeVeon Bell, and literally if LeVeon Bell did what he was supposed to do, I would have cashed in every single one of my lines. But because LeVeon busted, it's rare that that happens in NFL, by the way. It's rare that you have a number one player, number one running back like that completely just disappear, unless there's an injury. But this time with LeVeon Bell, man, it was tough. I know a lot of people took some losses in week one because of LeVeon's performance. So it's all good, though, guys. You got to understand that week one is the toughest week of NFL. You're coming into it not really knowing. You know what I'm saying? You know what they've done in the past. You know how defenses have looked in the past. But you don't really know what the game plan's going to be. You don't know what's like who they're going to be using a lot more of this year than they used last year. Like this guy in Chicago, the rookie. The rookie in Chicago, you guys know I was big on Jordan Howard. And the reason I was big on him is exactly what you saw with the rookie. The rookie got like 6 or 7 targets in the pass game. And that's exactly what I expected from Jordan Howard. But because this guy came out and he shined early, they used him a lot. And that stopped Jordan Howard from a lot. Yeah, Jordan Howard, he did great. Jordan Howard was very solid. I had him in my season longs, and I had him on DFS. He was solid, but he would have absolutely been ridiculously good if it wasn't for that guy vulturing a lot of the catching in the pass game. That's the best part that I was excited about. I was excited about him getting involved in the pass game more often in that matchup, and it ended up being that rookie. So it is what it is. Like I said, NFL Week 1's the toughest one. I took my first loss in NFL since back in Week 3 of NFL last year. That was my first loss because of LeVeon Bell. If LeVeon does what he's supposed to do, I win again, as I have since Week 3 of last year. But it ended up going down. But it is what it is. All you can do is bounce back and grind even harder to make sure, now that we know how game plans are and stuff, we're able to attack it a certain way. So now that we know, everybody should be doing much better starting week 2. We should have some much higher scoring. We should have people going crazy. So it's all good. Let's go ahead and get into the MLB High Five. Starting tomorrow, I will start covering quarterbacks for this next week. Okay, so in tomorrow's video, you will hear about my quarterback selections, then running backs, then receivers. And then on Friday night, I will post my high five for NFL Week 2. All right? So here we go, guys. Like the video down below. Let's get over 100 likes for the squad. Let's go ahead and get straight into it. Let's look at pitcher. So Carlos Carrasco is an amazing option, okay? I'm not saying not to use him. He's very, very expensive, though, at 13-2. Every matchup that he has had against Detroit, he has dominated Detroit. He has done very, very well versus them. And that's even before they lost JD and Upton. So he's in a great spot here at 13-2. I will have lineups involving him because there's a lot of great value on this slate, and I will get to that in a little bit. But there's one stack in particular that I love that is very, very cheap, and I'll get to that. But Carlos Carrasco is a great play, don't get me wrong. But you guys know how I am in the high five. I like to give you guys kind of mid-ish range, or sometimes I'll go upper range, but only if it's a more reasonable price. That's very, very expensive. Like I said, I will have some exposure, but he will not be in the high five. All right? The guy I'm putting in the high five first is Jason Hammel at home in Kansas City going against the White Sox. Now, this isn't super sexy. I understand that. The name's not super sexy, but Hammel hasn't gotten less than 10 Draftkings points since his start on July 1st. That's a long time, guys. That's a long time that he's gotten 10 or more Draftkings points every start. I expect Kansas City to get the win here going against Reynaldo Lopez. I think Kansas City will go ahead and do their thing at home against this young guy. So I think Jason Hammel gets the win, and he ends up getting us about 15 to 20 Draftkings points in this one. So I love him. On top of that, the White Sox are striking out a shit ton to righties, most in the league at 27.8 K rate versus righties. So they also have only a 168 ISO. It's not super, super low, but it's not high either. Okay, so it's just not that great. And they're in Kansas City at home. I love Jason Hammel here going against the White Sox, who just strike out a shit ton. Next guy that I absolutely love, my next pitcher is Brandon Woodruff. One of the reasons why I love Woodruff is because my cheap stack that I absolutely love on this slate is Milwaukee going against Brault, the lefty. Okay? I absolutely love these guys going against this Brault guy. This is a guy that I will definitely be stacking against. There are some righties on this Milwaukee team that have been hitting great, and I expect them to fully take advantage of Brault. So that puts Woodruff in the win category. Woodruff also has some good strikeout stuff, and Pittsburgh is not a great offense. They're bottom in the league in every category in offensively. And I think Woodruff is a solid option here. I absolutely love him at 7,100. And with these two pitchers, with Hammel and Woodruff, they give you some very good safety and upside, because Woodruff's got some good strikeout upside, but yet you can fit any batter you want. Okay? And in this slate, I don't necessarily think that you have to go so cheap at pitcher. Like I said, I love Carrasco and stacking up some Milwaukee righties. Because, like I said, I love Milwaukee at home going against this guy. But in the high five, I'm going to go ahead and give you guys some mid-range guys that I really think are very solid, and go ahead and touch on some batters I love. All right, at third base, a batter that I really, really like on this slate is my main man. It's been a while since I put him in the high five, Evan Longoria. It's time, man. He's been a little cold as of late, but it's time for him to bounce back. It's a perfect time for him to do so against the lefty CC Sabathia. First things first is Longoria hits lefties well. That's just something that's been the case all of his career. And he also has done very well versus CC. In the 76 at-bats that he has faced Sabathia, he has 32 hits, 9 doubles, 8 home runs, and a 421 average. Okay, when you're looking at everything and you see that all of the stats are lining up in a player's favor, and then you look at BVP and that also looks great, 9 times out of 10 it is a fantastic play, and they will be a solid guy. Okay, so definitely look at everything else like ISO, WOBA, stuff like that. I'm not saying rely super heavily on BVP. I rely on BVP when it comes to, I look at everything looks great. Just to put the cherry on top, I check BVP, and if that matches up as well, I lock it in, and I'm super confident with it. And that's a strategy that I've used for a long time, and I've been very successful doing so. All right? So, We got Evan Longoria. Next up in the high five, we're going to go ahead and put my main man, JD Martinez. I think he has a huge game here at home in Arizona going against the lefty Freeland. JD's another guy who hits lefties very, very well, man. He's top in the league versus left-handed pitchers. Chase Field is second most hitter-friendly ballpark in the MLB. JD has been hot as of late, including the 28 Draftkings points he just put up against San Diego on September 10th. So he's just absolutely been on fire, and this is an amazing matchup here against Freeland. He's got a high ISO, a high WOBA, and I'm definitely predicting a dinger here out of JD. And if Goldschmidt's in the lineup, he's been bouncing in and out lately. If Goldschmidt is in the lineup, I would definitely consider putting him in there too. If you end up doing a lineup where you got Woodruff and Hammel, you're able to afford that Arizona stack. So I would say JD and Goldschmidt are my favorite two from Arizona. So definitely get some exposure from those guys. Next up, we have got a really cheap stack here, guys. All right, and I'm gonna tell you this, and I really fucking love these guys. Domingo Santana is one of them from Milwaukee. He's a righty. He bats on top of that order. He bats towards the top of that order. He bats between second and fifth. Sometimes he'll hit fifth. Sometimes he'll bounce up to first. Sometimes he'll bat second. But it's top portion of the order. That's always where you want him to be. And this guy has done very well versus this pitcher. It's a small sample size because Brault hasn't really done much. But the time that Santana did face Brault, he got 2 hits out of the 3 at-bats. One was a double. The other was a home run. 0 strikeouts and a .667 batting average. Domingo's not the only one either, guys. Okay? There's more guys in this Milwaukee offense, and I'm going to go ahead and point out another one. I just have to. I have to point out another guy for this Milwaukee offense that has been great, and that is Keon Broxton. Keon Broxton, righty on lefty matchup, always good. He hits lefties great. He bats, well, he's been batting around 7th lately, but I expect him to bounce up in this matchup. It's a great matchup for him. Out of the 4 at-bats, he's got 3 hits. All 3 were doubles and only 1 strikeout for a .750 batting average. So he's hitting with power against this guy. I love a Milwaukee stack, man. There's multiple Milwaukee players that I love here in this matchup. So definitely get involved with Milwaukee. And that's it, guys. You got Domingo. Oh, let me put him back in here because I took him out. I was going to put Broxton in there. Domingo Santana, JD Martinez, Evan Longoria are our batters. And then Jason Hammel and Brandon Woodruff are the 5 guys that I expect to have very solid games. And they are a perfect building stone. They're a perfect, what do you call it? A fucking just, they're the perfect building blocks to build around. Okay? Perfect. That is what the high five consists of. I give you guys 5 guys that you can easily afford to put in your lineup and have plenty of room for the rest of your lineup. As you can see, with my high five locked in, you have 4,500 to go. So you're pretty much comfortable the rest of the way. And these Milwaukee guys, I mean, Keon Broxton is under 3,000. So these Milwaukee guys are very cheap in a very good spot. They fucked up pricing them so low. So I'm going to be heavy on Milwaukee. I love them to death. And that's it. All right. Now, you know what time it is. I haven't done a batter's box for a while. Now, what the batter's box is for the new viewers to the squad is it's a list of batters that I'm going to mention that have good histories versus the pitchers they are facing. So, if you do get into a situation where you're liking all the stats, everything's looking great, and you want one thing just to kind of top it off, it would be to use one of these players here. If you hear a name that you're interested, that you've checked things and you like everything, and this batter's box adds to it, then definitely lock them in and feel safe about it, man. All right? So here we go. Starting off, all of these batters have at least 10 or more at-bats versus the pitchers I will be mentioning. All right? So here we go. Let's get it. Wellington Castillo, Adam Jones, Ezekiel Carrera, Miguel Montero. This is another thing before I keep going. Toronto has hit Jimenez very, very well, so keep that in mind. All right? They've hit him with a lot of power. They hit a lot of home runs off this dude. All right? Kendrys Morales has 2 home runs versus him. Miguel Montero, the catcher that plays from time to time, he has 3 home runs versus him. They hit with power. Jose Iglesias, Kevin Kiermaier, of course, Evan Longoria, Steven Souza, Robinson Cano, Carlos Gonzalez, Mark Reynolds, and Trevor Story. Any of those names that you just heard, if you also check the other stats and you like how it's looking or you've been feeling those guys already, lock them in, man, because BVP is telling you to do so as well. They have good histories versus that pitcher, so lock it in. Good luck, everybody. Let's kill this MLB slate, man. I took a L in NFL because of fucking LeVeon Bell disappearing. So I'm about to fuck MLB up all week so I can stack up a shit ton of money to just go all the fucking week too, because I'm taking that shit down. Go to greenlightdfs.com if you want to join the lineup squad. If you're working hard and you don't have time to get in and get some extra money in your pocket, go ahead and sign up with the squad, and I'll make sure I do what I can, do what I do best, and which is win and put some money in your pocket. All right? Like the video down below. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. The Fantasy Locker Room podcast will be dropping another episode either tomorrow or the next day. I will be letting you guys know on Twitter at @Cam_ATL. The podcast we posted for last week was dead on. The guys we talked about were fire. So definitely check out the Fantasy Locker Room podcast, man. It's going to change your motherfucking life. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, man. Thank you guys for watching as always, and I'm out.